was dropping a lot of rocks and numerous other issues. But anyway, I think this will help me grip them better. And it provides a better contrasting background so you can see some of the colors better. Okay, so the information I'm going to be reading is from one of my books called Agates Inside Out, and I'm going to show you the author's name because I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not even going to try. Photography by Thomas P. Shearer. That one I can say. It's a pretty fantastic book if you're into agates or any kind of like I think they're considered semi-precious gemstones, because this book has information on a lot of different rocks in the agate family. Okay. So we're going to start with, sorry, this is a slow start, guys. We are going to start with what is an agate, and I'm just going to show you some of my different rocks while I read this. Agates naturally develop when empty pockets or veins inside host rock fill in molecule by molecule and layer by layer as quartz microcrystals self-organize. That's cool. They form concentric bands or other patterns. So here's, this one isn't polished yet. Oh, I'm gonna get it wet. It's easier to see. So here's a good example of those patterns and the bands that they're talking about, writing about, whatever. Okay. There are basically two types of agate banding. First is what some call common agate banding, also called concentric banding, fortification banding, adhesional banding, and wallpaper banding. So, oops. I'll show you an example of what they're talking about with the concentric banding, and hopefully it'll come across. Here's one that I found and polished already. It's fractured, but you can still see. Okay, so there's the banding. You can see it goes all the way around and forms a complete pocket of banding. So that's the fortification banding, and the way it was explained in another book is it's like if you were looking down on the top of a fort that had several borders built around it. It might look something like that. Okay. The other main type. Oh, wait a minute, guys. I'm sorry. I think I have another good example to show you of this. Of one that I found. Yes, here it is. So this one is broken differently, but you can see is true. They're harder to find. These aren't polished, so I'm going to get it wet. When I get it wet, it's much easier to see the detail. Here, this is a better side. You can see that horizontal banding. Here's another one. These two have been through, it looks like one stage of polishing. I never know what to do when they're really pitted like that, because if I kept tumbling and tumbling, it would wear down to nothing. This will probably be a slicer when I get a trim saw. I have no idea what that loud bang was in the background. Okay, so that's horizontal banding. Oh, I have one that's polished, actually. It's tiny, but it's, so that one's a polished already. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Okay, moving on. Okay, so before we get into different types of agates, the book goes into agate wannabes, which I don't really think I like that. So, jasper is something that I find a lot of when I'm out looking for rocks, and jasper falls into this agate wannabe category, according to this book. Personally, I don't like to consider jasper an agate wannabe because I think jasper is quite happy being jasper, as well it should be. So here's a piece, a really good piece. This is actually my daughter's. She found it, she polished it, and then she gave it to me because we decided it would be a good slicer. Sorry about the noise, guys. I'm readjusting this light up here so you can see some of the detail. It's a pretty good hunk of jasper. Lots of colors. Still a little nicked. But we don't need to keep polishing it since we decided to cut it. But we don't have equipment, so eventually we will have equipment when we can afford it, but for now we need to take it to people to do that kind of thing, and they are not easy to find. Okay, so here are some of my pieces of jasper. This is one of my favorite ones. This is already polished up. I love these brown and tan pieces. You can see it's got a seam going right down it. That's not a nick, that's actually something in the rock. Yeah, I love this one. I think it would make a great pendant. Here's a little teal one. It's got some tan swirlies on the back. Let's see what else we got here. This one looks like a desert to me. I found all of these and tumbled them. I have a little 2-barrel tumbler that's good for this smaller stuff. This is one of my favorites too. Again, the brown and tan. I just love it. And you can see some, I don't think it's banding, but you can see some like soft stripiness jasper want to be an agate? Why would it? This is just a little guy, but I think he's so freaking cool. I don't know why I call him a he, but it's got that buttery yellow and sort of a reddish brown. I think that would make a great, great necklace. Very slippery. Okay, this one. I think this is jasper. I think. I'm not a geologist, guys. I just play one on YouTube. So, some of the things I'm talking about, I know, but there's a lot that I don't know. Like, for instance, if what I'm about to show you is jasper, it's, you can see it's this very deep teal color. This was one rock. Here, I'm gonna put it down. It's a little unwieldy. This was one big rock, and I was wondering if it was solid teal. So I brought it home and busted it open with the rock hammer, and sure enough, solid teal. That's what it looked like from the outside. So, didn't actually look like much. But you see that nick right there? It had that in it. And this was actually in the middle of the river. But during the summer, the river gets really shallow, so it's only like 3 or 4 feet. But, yeah, I'll just go out and stand in the middle of the river and look down, and because it was in the water, that teal color showed up. Much darker. Yeah, this isn't really working. Anyway, that's the only way that I knew that it might be teal. Otherwise, I think I would have passed right over it. And I'm so glad that I didn't, you guys. I just am so amazed by this rock. And I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell that it's really brittle, which means it will polish really well. So I think what I'm going to do is keep busting that one down and polish it, make some things like this, but in that teal color. Okay, let's see if there's more jasper I can show you. This one's pretty cool. It has, you can see it's got little veins of like light section off of there. There we go. Again, you can see that concentric banding. This one hasn't been polished at all. You can see it's still pretty much in its original form. Let's see some more carnelian. I have a lot of carnelian to show you. Much of it is not polished, so I'll have to spray it. Here's another one. This one's really rough. Still has a lot of black host rock on it. I'll hold it up to the light and you can see how the light shines through. So the difference between jasper and agate is translucent and jasper is not. They're pretty much made of the same components, but they're just made a little differently. The way it was described is like jasper is like a bunch of BBs packed into a jar so tightly that it's opaque. You can't see any light through. But agates have like, I don't know, longer not fibers, but it's not like BBs, it's like long slivers that allow light to go through. Jesus, that's a really lame explanation, but yeah, that's what I know, or don't know. So here's another one. This is a deeper red, and I like this because it still has a bubble in it. You can see that bubble right there. It's a very deep red. It hasn't been polished at all. Here's one that has been polished. It's still, see, a lot of these are really rough, but if I keep tumbling them, I'm going to tumble them down to nothing. So, what do you do? There you can see the little spots. Some clear, some red. Let's see, here's one that's got a teeny tiny bit of, I don't know if it'll even come across. Right there in the center, that was geode. But this got really worn down by the river, so you can hardly even tell. It's not sparkly anymore. What else? This first one that I showed you is carnelian. This one, the big one, that's a cutter. I think I tumbled it once and was like, no, this isn't going to work. This needs to be cut. Oh, sorry about the car. Here's another one. Yeah, it's just, oh my gosh, there's so much carnelian around here. Oh, here's one in a really rough original form. I'll spray it so you can kind of see. So this will be a cutter too because it's way too lumpy and bumpy. I'll probably just cut this one right down the middle and see if there's banding inside. It's so dense you can't quite. If I held it up to the sun, you could see the light through it, but it's really dense. Okay, so that is carnelian. Now we've got dendritic agates. As agates developed, some of the trace impurities acted as catalysts to stimulate banding and were taken up within the fibrous structure. Other impurities were forced to the inside of the active crystallization front during the genesis process, only to accumulate and form their own band. Still other impurities grew within the agate pocket to form incredible structures of their own. These inclusions developed into many forms, including dendrites, moss, plumes, picture from the book. I have to turn it upside down. Or, there we go, sideways. So it's these, you can see there was a fracture in the rock, and then impurities got in and made those really cool, they almost look like plumes of smoke. In all my years of rock hounding, I've only found one like that. This one, I call it my candy corn agate. It's also a carnelian. See, it's got like 2 swoops of carnelian, and then it has those, can't see it so well from this side, but it has those inclusions in there. Really, really cool. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, that's the only dendritic one I have. Okay, next is sagonite agates. Oops, sorry guys. Sagonite refers to clusters of needle-like mineral inclusions within an agate. These radiating mineral inclusions may have formed from several different minerals. I have one here. Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay. This is the only sagonite I've ever found. And it's, oh my god, it's so cool. So you can see it's like there was an explosion over here. And everything shot out. Oh, and another one over here. Yeah, so those are those needle-like inclusions they're talking about. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. It's, I think it's been through one polish, and it needs to keep going. But I don't know how far to take it, because I can't make it totally smooth, because again, I will grind it down to nothing. And I don't want to do that. Okay, lastly, we have thunder egg agates. Thunder eggs are irregular star-shaped agates that developed in extremely viscous rhyolitic lavas soon after volcanic eruptions. Thunder eggs are the Oregon State rock. There are places in Central Oregon where you can go and dig for them. I've never done it because I prefer to find my rocks in rivers and around rivers. I don't know. There's something about knowing they're there and paying to dig for them that takes some of the magic out of it for me. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it. It's just, for me, I will do it someday, but it's not high on my priority. So this is a thunder egg from the outside. Just really knobby and bumpy, very round. If I didn't know, like if I wasn't specifically digging for thunder eggs, I don't know that I would see this and think it was anything. I got that one from a friend who I got he and his daughter into rock hounding, and so he took her out to Central Oregon and they got those, and they gave me a couple of them. So here's one of them that's cut. Oops. So you can see how cool that is. It's got the horizontal banding, and then some, I don't know if those are tubes or plumes, and then this thing here, maybe that's a tube, I don't know. But it's so amazing. Oh my god, you guys, so amazing. Rise and